So you listen to all the advice and you built an email list, but then you send emails to your audience and nothing happens. Well, nothing good anyway. Instead of more sales, only 5% of your audience even opens a thing, while the others ignore you, unsubscribe, or worse, send you to spam, impacting the delivery of all future emails, meaning the 5% of people who do open might not even see your emails anymore. The thing is, there's a simple solution to this that'll help you write emails faster and easier, but without sounding like you're writing them at 1 a.m. with a fried brain, or worse, sounding like generic AI slop. In this video, I'm going to show you exactly why your emails are currently invisible, the manual slippery slope framework to fix it forever, and how I use a custom-trained AI to do the heavy lifting for me so it stays human and high converting. To understand this though, we first need to talk about your car. So, have you ever bought a new car only to suddenly start seeing the same model everywhere you go? Your neighbors have one, you see them on the way to work or at the supermarket, etc. The thing is, they were always there. You just didn't notice them because before you got one, it wasn't relevant to you and your life, so you just ignored them. This same thing is happening with your emails, and it's why they're not getting opened, because the majority of your headlines don't appeal to the audience and their problems or desires right now, so they just don't even pay attention to them. For example, think about how you use your own phone. You wake up to 50 notifications and they all want your attention, but you just don't have the mental bandwidth to deal with all of them, so you start to filter down to what's important. You scan for names from people you know, or you're looking for topics that solve a problem you have right now, and anything else can wait, or it doesn't even register in your brain. That's why your headline needs to hook them in by talking to them exactly where they are right at this moment. Until you master this and understand it, they'll never even open your email. But here's the thing, just getting their attention isn't enough. You need to pull them through the email so they sit up, keep reading, and actually click through to where you want them to go. To understand that, we need to talk about jiu-jitsu and what's called high-calorie grapplers. So here's the thing, I've been doing jiu-jitsu for about 5 years, and I'm one of the heavier dudes in the gym. So I always roll around with the other big guys. However, one of my friends turned up recently who I hadn't seen for a few months, and he dropped from 130 kgs to 100. He's late 40s, but the dude was moving around like he's in his 20s. So I needed to know, what's going on? Is he on steroids? What's the trick? It turns out he was getting back injuries, and as I lay on the floor trying to stretch my own pulled back, he explained how he started just 3 basic exercises each day at work to help him drop the weight. And as soon as he lost the first 5 kgs, his back was immediately better. But he kept going. So what was a habit to help an injury soon helped him feel 10 years younger. Now, I was about to ask him the exercises, but he was running late and he had to go. However, you can bet your ass that as soon as I see him next week, I'll find out what those moves were. Because let's be honest, who doesn't want abs in their 40s, right? The thing is, without realizing it, our conversation was following a classic copywriting formula called the PAS system. Problem, agitate, solution. See, my friend didn't just sell me on exercise, or at least the idea of exercise. He called out to a problem I was literally feeling as I lay there on the floor because we both had bad backs. Without meaning to, he agitated the problem by showing me how much better life could be without it. The guy looks like he's 10 years younger. And then he teased the solution because I wanted to know how he did this. There was 3 things. You need to follow the same format with your own emails because, like I say, getting them to open is not enough. We're fighting to keep their attention. So you need to build in this organic, slippery slope where each sentence makes the reader crave the next one. Here's how. So when you're writing your email, top tip, go ahead and pick one headline for now. Trying to write a great headline from a blank section in your email provider just doesn't work. Instead, start with the body section and make sure it hits on these 3 steps. So the problem, identify the back pain your audience is feeling right now and name it in the introduction and how it makes them feel. Agitate. Show them the cost of staying with this problem and what the knock-on effects are. This keeps them interested. It makes it feel like something more important because it is. But if we don't do this, they'll go to another email. So keep pulling them through so they really feel the issue. Solution. Only once they're leaning in do you present what the solution is, which is the link that you want them to click on. However, because you pull them through the story, the click feels like a relief and not a sales pitch. Once you've done all that, go ahead and write the headline so it ties into the problem and calls out to that audience. Help them see that new car in the headline. Not only will this hook them more, but it's far easier to write a good headline that stops them in their tracks when you write them like this because the headline matches the body, not the entire email body being written to match a weak headline that you wrote first. Smart, right? If you follow those steps, then your emails will get opened, read, and more importantly, clicked on so your list takes action and you make more sales. That being said, even when you know all this, Sometimes it's hard to put it into action because the coffee just isn't hitting like it should, and your brain just isn't doing its magic. I know this happens to me all the time, which is why I decided to make my life easier with AI, and you can have this for free also. So to be clear, this isn't just a generic prompt that you just throw into whatever. It's a custom-made GPT inside of ChatGPT. It's trained to only do one thing, which is to write emails using this process. I trained it on how it works. I also trained it on my emails that work really well. This means that even if it's 1 a.m. and I'm sending an email at the end of a product launch, I don't write something so bad that my list ignores me because I can run it through this tool. Heck, I can even write something good, and this tool can sometimes write something even more effective. The best part is it's really easy to use. Again, if you click the link in the description, I'll send it to you so that it fits into your own ChatGPT. So let's break it down how it works. So once you've downloaded the tool, it'll come up in the sidebar of ChatGPT so you can use it again and again. You're going to click on that and then click on the Let's Get Started button. The tool will then ask you for some background information. Who is this email for? Who are they as people? Why are they subscribed to you? What do they care about? What's the goal of the email? What's the main problem it solves? And what do you want the audience to do after reading it? And why should they care about this? What's the specific benefit to them? And is there anything that they might miss out on? Is there limited spots, a special deal, or a deadline? So why answer all this? Simply because the better the tool understands your audience and what you want them to do, the easier it is for it to write the email. These are all things that you need to be thinking of when you write emails. So by feeding it to them, it can now do the same thing. So all you need to do is answer the questions and fill that out.
For example, let's say that I want to promote my article on my new traffic generation challenge. So I'll go ahead and answer the questions like so. My audience is solopreneurs, they do their own marketing and have some success, and they come to me to learn how to do it better. They want more traffic and not to build a huge company, just enough money to be comfortable with what they know, etc. Once I've given it this information, it then asks me for a couple more questions. Why? Well, here's the really cool thing about this tool. I can either get it to write an email from scratch, or I can give it an email draft that I've tried to write already, and it will improve it. So if I want to do that, then I simply paste in my current email subject line, the body text of the email, and the link of where I want to send them to, so it can include the link in the email. For now, though, let's write a new draft from scratch using the tool. If you look, it'll actually tell you what to do. If you notice at the bottom, it says, if you don't have a draft yet, just say so, and I'll write a completely new draft for you. I want it to write a brand new email, so I simply tell it that I don't have a draft yet. Then I paste in the URL of the page that I want to send people to, as well as copy and paste the entire page that I want to send them to. I do this because sometimes these AI tools only partly pull the info from the page, but by pasting the whole thing in, now it's got the whole page information to work from. Once I've done that, all I need to do is click enter, and it will then pick an angle to approach this email based on what it thinks my audience will best respond to. Benefit-driven, FOMO, scarcity, etc. In this case, it chose to be benefit-driven, and then it starts to write the email. I've been doing marketing for over a decade, helped clients get millions of readers, and recently helped one scale to 1 million customers. So as you can see, this email is pretty good. However, every time that it does this, it's going to tell you that AI isn't perfect and it can always need a human touch. So if you want to refine this, you can simply give it some feedback on what you want to change. This is always a good idea because it can help get your tone of voice. Also, though, you might think of new things to add after being inspired by the tool's first attempt. So in this case, I asked it to add these things in, and let's see if it improves it even further. It says that often they're watching people explain how they got 100,000 views or added 10,000 subscribers, while at the same time, they're just kind of struggling to get their first few hundred. So a starting point of 21 Google clicks, which is what I talk about in the video challenge, makes the experiment believable because it's not an impressive starting point, and it makes them want to see what's going to happen. And so it starts to tie that actually into the email. You can see here, it also got me thinking about how frustrating most traffic advice be when you're in a similar situation. So as you can see, the first version was good, but the second version is great, and it's all done in under 5 minutes. So not bad, right?
Like I said, this tool saves me so much time and effort and makes sure that my emails actually grow my business instead of being ignored or being a huge chore to try and do at 11 o'clock at night. If you want this prompt so you can improve the performance of your email list, click the link below in the description. I'll send it right to you. It's going to help you make so much more sales from your emails. The problem, of course, is once you've done that and your emails are pumping, you're going to want to add even more emails onto your list. So watch this video next to learn how I convert anywhere from 15 to 83% of my blog traffic into email subscribers, even on a low traffic blog. I usually charge hundreds of dollars for the training in that video, but you can watch it for free. So grab the prompt first and then go watch that video.